We've got some.
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit. And today, we're bringing them to you so you can take action immediately and start creating real content momentum.
If you'd like to learn more about how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. Oh, yeah.
Today, we have an epic guest, and we're going to be talking all about how to create sales-generating videos with no experience whatsoever. Ooh, I'm very excited about this.
That sounds like money.
I mean, we love...
That sounds like money.
That's right. We love videos. We love content. And, of course, a product of that, it's money, which a lot of businesses need, right?
Hey, before we get started, FONZI, I have a question for you. Do we have a sponsor today?
Indeed, we do. Thank you for asking, you, sir.
You're welcome.
And today's sponsor is your own, the BIZBROS. Yes, we sponsored this podcast with content momentum. If you produce a long-form piece of content just like this one that you're watching or listening, and you want to turn it into multiple value-packed bite-sized assets, then slide in the DMs at BIZBROS Go. Just send us that message.
Hey guys, this show goes out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays on your favorite podcasting platform. So go ahead and follow the show because the value that these incredible entrepreneurs are bringing to you it's incredible. You can take action and get money out of it. So, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. Go ahead and follow the show. Go ahead and follow us on social media at BIZBROS.
Absolutely. And if today's guests help you take one step closer to your goal, please don't forget to share it because you might be doing the same exact for somebody else. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review. Thank you.
We hope you're ready to go to the bathroom or restroom because you won't want to miss anything from today's epic guest. Today's guest came into our world during another show we were hosting. We immediately knew he was the real deal.
Today's guest is the Bob Ross of video. He can and will teach you how to turn your sweet ideas into even sweeter videos that make it rain. No previous experience? Don't worry about it. Today's guest is here to turn you into the next James Cameron of social media videos.
Let's not forget the fact that he has worked with entrepreneurs like Russell Brunson, Brendon Burchard, Cardone, Kern, and many more that you'll probably follow on Instagram. Over the past 16 years, he has produced over 10,000 videos.
Time for you to take out your pen and paper. Please welcome creator of the video formula and the master of neck-breaking, scroll-stopping videos, Kevin Anson! Woohoo! What's up, Kevin?
What's up, you guys? That was the most amazing intro ever. I might have to write that down and steal that for later. That was epic. So thank you. I'm stoked to be here.
We'll just send it to you, Kevin. Yeah. We'll copy and paste it right there in the messages and send it to you.
Love it. I just want to go on. If I ever go on stage, speak up on Hacking Live, I just want that to be my intro. So that was amazing.
Thank you so much. I think, FONZI, I think we should just completely change careers because one we've received that comment once or twice. We should just write the intros, send them to Devon, and he can do the performing. We'll be the people behind the intros. But no, Kevin, we're extremely honored. Obviously before we connected on that other show, I've seen your ads with some props, and we'll talk about props in just a second, but I was like, man, that's crazy. And it got my attention every single time. But before we dive into that, for those who are not familiar with you, do you want to share a little bit how you got into this internet marketers game, into creating these incredible pieces of content that actually sell?
Yeah, I mean, it probably goes back to 4 or 5 years ago. And it was, something where, I came into it like the rest of us, being a nobody. Nobody knew who I was. I was just a video guy. Because I've been doing videos since 2004. And I got in the corporate world, which is not a bad place to be because there's lots of money in corporate. These big brands and businesses, they have lots of money to throw at video production because they all need videos for their websites and their social media and training videos or what have you. So I heard about, Russell Brunson. I think it was a webinar that he did online, and I watched it and I was like, man, this guy's all over my feed, ClickFunnels, this and that, And so I just wanted to learn more about this online marketing thing. And fast forward 4 or 5 years, but I've kind of taken my skill of video production. I know I've edited TV shows and I've shot tons of video, but I didn't really understand the marketing side of it. And I always wanted to understand that. It's like, okay, there's messaging inside of a video. You can't just go out and shoot something because you think it looks cool and you want to like put some music to it or whatever. It doesn't mean people are going to watch it. It doesn't mean it's going to get results. And so I want to learn the marketing side of it. Like, what has to go into a video to make it successful and to make people actually watch it, and, you know, to watch it all the way through and to click the link and buy the thing or whatever. And so I just started picking up books and learning. And then, you know, eventually I got good at it. And, you know, I can tell you the story about how I got, you know, partnered up with Russell, you know, a couple of years into it, but that's basically the story and nuts and bolts. I mean, it's, I've been running my own video production business since 2011 and, haven't stopped. So I just, you know, I work from home. I get to watch my 4 kids grow up, and it's been cool.
Just for reference, when did that, you know, hunger for marketing started, since you had your production company?
I think the hunger for the marketing side of it just really came down to like creating videos for clients in the corporate world. And I always did what the director of marketing would tell me. They're like, we need this video and it has to say this. And then I would make them this great video. I'd send it over to them, and then it wouldn't really get results, right? I would email them, be like, hey, so how did that video turn out? You know, they'd be like, oh, I don't know. We took it to a trade show and it didn't really work that well. And I'm just like, man, that sucks, you know? And I didn't really know. I was just like, well, maybe it's my fault. Like, I didn't know like what's supposed to go in the video. I just did what I was told by the director of marketing. So eventually I was just like, man, I've got to learn this marketing thing, because I'm looking at Russell and Frank Kern and these guys, and the way that they, you know, structure their messaging. I mean, it's not by accident, it's on purpose. They know what works and what doesn't, and they've been doing it for years. Or like Dan Kennedy, he's another amazing copywriter. So I started like studying all these guys, and I just started trying bits and pieces from all of them and putting them into my videos, because I was doing work for ClickFunnels, right? Yeah. And like when I first started out, like the videos were just doing okay. It was just like, oh, you know, we tried that video on Instagram and it did okay. It didn't really get a lot of likes. I was always like, every time they'd post a video from me on Russell's Instagram, I was like watching it like a hawk. And, you know, eventually like one would get 20,000 views. I was like, what was it about that one that I did? And I would like pick that ingredient out. Like, that has to be in every video that I do now. And so I started learning, you know, I did hundreds of videos for them, and we still make videos for them. And so I was just learning as I was going. And so the marketing thing got really fun, because I was like, I just want results. Like every time I make a video for myself or I teach people how to do it, I want people to get, the video has to go out and do its thing. It's like a salesperson, you know? And so once it gets results and it works, that's like the coolest feeling in the world.
Yeah. I love what you share here. First, because at first you were doing the videos, and because the marketing messaging, that marketing side of things was in the hands of somebody else. If it didn't perform, you were worried about it. You care about the client on the other side, and you're like, I want this to convert, right? So you set out on a mission to learn these marketing elements, these marketing principles, so then you could deliver those results that you wanted, right? I mean, any other person could have been like, oh, I'm a production agency, I'm doing my work just by producing the video, I'm not gonna even pay attention to that, my work is done here, right? So, I mean, first of all, I commend you for going above and beyond and wanting to learn how to make these videos work for your clients. I think that's absolutely amazing. Great lesson for you listening right now. Are you delivering those results? And how can you attach yourself to the profit of the business that you're trying to help, right? Because now you become indispensable for them. Now, the other thing that I see here is a concept that we learned from Alex Hormozi, if I'm not mistaken. He talks about skill stacking, right? So you were in the production business, you knew how to create amazing looking videos. So you had this expertise, a lot of value, but now you decided, how can I even increase my value in the eyes of my customers? Let me learn marketing principles. Let me learn how to make these videos convert viewers into customers. Right now, you're increasing your level of expertise. You're stacking a new skill, right, into the skill set that you already have, which makes you incredibly valuable, which led you to work with people now like Russell Brunson, Grant Cardone. I mean, we can repeat all the names all day long, right? We're just gonna drop them in the comment section right here. But I think that's amazing, because a lot of people, I feel like they get stuck with one skill. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go with this. okay, what are some complementary skills that we can put in place to, you know, help us and help the client even more?
Yeah, Kevin, I love the fact that you started grabbing these pieces and create your own framework, right? Like over the past probably 6 months, we've been obsessing over frameworks. And, you know, you showed us in the other show one of those frameworks, right? You're like, hey, there's no secret. Here it is, right? And all these incredible people that publish consistently and have been in the market for a long time, they run everything through their own framework. I'm curious, because whenever we talk about this, it's like either people get super excited or they're like, again, like, because we're like, that's what allowed us to create this show consistently and almost hit 200 episodes, right, over a year, right? Because there's a framework that we follow and it's very little friction to go execute, right? So I'm curious about how you discover your own framework. Was that something that caused a lot of friction in your process, or was like something that happened naturally out of curiosity? How was that experience?
Yeah, it just came with testing things out. Really, it was just like, okay, you know, and luckily I was able to do it alongside of the folks at ClickFunnels when I first started out, when I was, you know, jumping into the marketing world. And so it was like, you know, I was on their team, on their Slack channel, and, you know, I was responsible for producing a certain amount of videos. I'd send them over and I would see what works. So, I mean, yeah, luckily for me, it was on, you know, their ad spend. It was on their dime, not my own. But I still nowadays, I test things too on my end, because I'm running, you know, I think, you know, last month I was spending like $800 a day in Facebook ads, right? And so it's like I'm able to test things too, because sometimes what worked a couple months ago doesn't work anymore today, because things change, the market's changing. You can't say that anymore on Facebook, maybe, or whatever it is. But yeah, so I mean, going back to the question, I just really just kept throwing things out there, seeing what worked, and picked up the ingredients that you know, that made sense. And it was just like, it was on the notes app on my phone. It was just like an ongoing list of things. And eventually, like, the list, because the video formula is 10 ingredients now, but it was at like 15 things. And then I kind of had to, like, you know, some elements kind of go together, you know, and like, you know, you have to combine things. And so I wanted to make it like an even number of, you know, things too, but 10 ingredients. And it's just been, it's been an evolution. It's just like anything with you guys out there as an entrepreneur. It's, you know, not giving up is the most important thing that you can do. Like, I still fail all the time. Like, I try things and they don't work, or, you know, we send ads to clients every once in a while and they don't work for them. And then they email us back, like, yeah, dude, the ad just didn't work, or it got declined. I mean, doesn't mean, I mean, we're all human. We're all making mistakes. The most important thing that I've learned for myself is just to, like, you're going to have bad days, but don't let that stop you from picking back up tomorrow and, you know, trying something else. Like the first course that I put out, the first 2 courses that I put out, they completely flopped. They just didn't do well. But I wasn't going to let that stop me, because I don't know why, but I always had this thing in the back of my mind where I was just like, one day when I'm like 95 years old and I'm like laying in a bed and I can't move anymore, am I going to look back and be like, damn, I wish I would have just kept trying. I wish I would have been like, made this course that was successful and I was able to help people, and then I could evergreen it and made money for my family. Or like, what if I was to die today or pass away, and then like my family doesn't have any assets to, like, you know, to work with? Like, if my wife, if I died, she'd be like, I'll just take Kevin's course and keep running ads to it and selling it so that we can make money for our family. Like, that's how I see it. It's like an online asset. So anyways, I'm just like, I'm never going to give up. I'm going to do this thing. I want to be proud of myself looking back on my deathbed one day. Like, I did it. I freaking did it. I never gave up. And like, I feel like now, like, I accomplished that. So, you know, hopefully that resonates with some of you guys listening, but
100%. I mean, it's that consistency, right? Is the frequency on how we put stuff out there to receive feedback, right? There's, on our side of things, whenever we decided to do the show, just the live version, right? We do this 3 times a week. And the reason we decided to do that was, first, to learn as fast as possible, right? What's working for us to be able to execute actually. And then, you know, how can we improve it, right? And then a good example today was, after 100 and something episodes, 180 episodes, right? We're like, hey, time for a new intro. Us feedback from the people that are coming in. Not that it wasn't a bad intro. It's just maybe we're evolving, right? And we, on our side, we call that content evolution. But at the same time, we're receiving feedback. We're like, oh, okay, well, if that keeps happening, we should make something. We should make a change, right? So I love that fact, because you mentioned earlier too, that you guys were putting videos out, you know, on a high frequency as far as like production wise, right? And that frequency highly depends on the capacity that those teams can execute upon, right? But I love the fact that because of the time that you guys have been doing, you're collecting all that data, right? So for you listening, right, if you are trying stuff out, you know, maybe one time a week might not be, you know, that might be your capacity. So make peace with that and then grab feedback and then implement for the next week. But if you can increment that frequency, how can you increment that frequency? I think that's a question that for us, it turned into the show and what comes after. And it has helped us tremendously on gather that feedback that you've been gathering for the last 10 years, which is an incredible amount of time. And you know, there's a lot of knowledge. And I love the fact that you summarize everything in your video formula, right? We talked a little bit about it on the other show. So I don't know if FONZI, you have a question here, but
well, I want to talk about the video formula. I have my pen and paper here to take notes and learn from Kevin. So Kevin, why don't you tell us about, you know, I mean, we cannot know the origin of the video formula at this point, but what is it exactly, and for who is it, and why can people learn inside of the video formula course?
Yeah, I mean, just to throw in a quick plug, if you guys are listening to this and you're like, oh, I don't, you know, can't listen to the rest, but like, just go to kevinanson.com. I have like a free challenge in there that you can go through, and I teach some of these ingredients. But for those of you on here, you know, listening, I will, I'll tell you like the first couple, and they'll make a huge difference in your video efforts online. And it's really cool because I teach people this stuff, and then they're like, oh yeah, like I see other marketers doing that all the time. I just didn't realize that they were doing that. Like it works really well. And so they try it, and then they're like, holy crap, like I did that on my live stream and more people like stopped and watched it. I'm like, yeah, it works. It's a legitimate thing. So the first one is the pattern interrupt. And you might see, you know, give you some examples, like Dean Graciosi is one who I saw doing this. He started off one of his ads and he's jumping on the trampoline in his backyard. And then he jumps off and he starts delivering his message about whatever it is that he's trying to sell. Mm-hmm. And it's not because he's being silly or he just felt like jumping on the trampoline. It's because it's breaking up your pattern. When you're watching videos online or you're scrolling through Facebook, if something doesn't catch your attention in the first second, then you won't continue to watch it. So if you see someone just sitting here like me, just like talking to you on the screen, and that's all you see when you scroll past me, you won't stop and watch me because I'm not doing anything weird. That's a pattern interrupt. Mm-hmm. And so, but if I was like, you know, I have my Fire wallet. I don't know if it's, I do have my Fire wallet.
Yes, let's go.
So this is one that I use to like start off my ads, and it works really well because it's something that's on fire and people love fire and it's weird. And so I'll start off the ad with the Fire wallet, right? So this is the wallet. It's got this little flint thing on it right over here, and you just flick the flint. You got to make sure that you have good old fashioned Zippo lighter fluid on top. Otherwise, because it dries out, you know, when you let it sit here for a couple days or weeks.
Yeah.
So then you just flick the flint, and then boom, you got yourself some fire, right?
That's so cool.
And so like I start off my ads like that because it's a pattern interrupt. It's not because I'm like trying to be cool or I think fire. I mean, fire is cool, but I'm not like, you know, I'm not a pyro. I'm not a magician either. So like you start off with that, and then people stop and then they watch. And so now you got them, you grab their attention, and then you deliver the next thing, which is you could either do a hook or an identify, where it's like, hey, are you an entrepreneur who's trying to make online videos right now? Like that's an identify. You just identified that person. Because if I was to start off and say, hey, are you a stay-at-home mom? Then like that's a totally different person, right? So you're identifying that person, exactly who they are, male, female, age, situation, like identify. So that way, like when you start it off that way, it screens out the people that you don't want to market to, because you don't want a bunch of, you know, like 50 to 60-year-old dudes watching your video when you're trying to market to online moms. It's like, hey, are you an online mom or it's not an online mom, stay-at-home mom? Are you or whatever? Yeah, online. Are you an online stay-at-home mom? Like, what's up? So
we're gonna be like raising their hands and be like, yes, and then they're gonna continue to engage.
Right. So, I mean, if I see something like that, I'm like, peace, I'm out. I'm not watching this lady talk about, you know, stay-at-home moms. So anyways, identify. It can screen people in, screen people out. You're identifying them. You're speaking right to them. And then the third thing is the hook, where it's like, hey, you know, I'm going to share with you 3 things that completely changed my marriage, or completely like made me a better mom, or like made my videos get better, perform better online. Like 3 things, right? Like, so you're telling them a hook where it's to hook them in. So they want to know what those 3 things are. And I'm just telling you guys just some basic examples so you can kind of wrap your mind around what these things are and what they do. But there's so many different hooks. I mean, a hook is really just a headline. Like when you go and you look up some kind of a subject on Google, like all the results, those 10 results that you're seeing, they're usually in the form of a headline. It's like, does it speak to what you're looking for? It's like a pain/result based headline. I mean, newspapers do it. Nobody reads a newspaper anymore, but like articles online, magazines, they all have headlines at the top, and that's the hook. It's like, this
what
is
gets you to continue to read. Yeah.
Right. So this is what you're about to read. So that's the hook.
I love it. And then for more, people can go to, hold on, let me see if I got it. KevinAnson.com, correct?
If you go to KevinAnson.com/challenge, there's the video challenge in there. And tons of people are going through that, getting lots of results just with that free content. And then of course, I want you to buy my other stuff because that's how this works. But no, you don't have to.
And we don't see any problem with that, because with the value that you're delivering and the results that people are getting from what you're doing, it's incredible. I mean, I remember the session that we had with you. It was mind blowing, and it's just about how can we simplify it, right? And going back to that structure on how can we repeat this, right? And then it becomes super fun, because then you don't have to think on how you're actually going to do the thing. You're actually going to do it, and you're going to be like, what if tomorrow I'm actually going to be in the dog park and do this same video at the dog park, right? Like that will be my pattern interrupt. Like, sounds good. And then I identify my person, and then you can start testing. Is this the right market? Is this the right person I'm talking to? Is this the right thing? And the cool thing is you're going to start filtering the people that are going to be coming into your world. So then guess what? Your sales conversation later on, it becomes frictionless, because from the very beginning, they're going to be like, yes, that's me, right? So then there's going to be less issues to continue to deliver value and adding value to that potential customer, right? So freaking love it. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate for sharing the first 3 ingredients.
Yeah, absolutely. They're amazing. I love the identifier one, honestly. I think we don't use that one as much as we should. We use a lot of hooks, but identifying is such a clever way of keeping people, because everybody wants to belong somewhere. So as soon as you tell them like, hey, are you an online mom or online stay-at-home mom, right? They're going to be like, if they are, they're going to say yes. And immediately, first, you're already getting a yes inside of their head, which it's easier to get the second yes. So they're like, yes, that is me. Then the hook, you get the video, and at the end, there's going to be a call to action. That should be their second yes, which is going to be easier because now already they said a yes at the very beginning. So I think that is genius and something that we don't see that often. I'm curious, though, because I think Facebook has some limitations with identifiers when running ads. And I might be mistaken about this, but I think you cannot put either in the copy or maybe in the video itself, like an identifier like that. Am I wrong? And if I'm not wrong, what is the workaround around that?
Yeah, we have seen some friction on some of the ads that we've done. Like if, were you injured in a car accident or things like that, it's tough because you're identifying, it's usually they're looking for the "are you" in the first sentence. And so you can say something like, stay-at-home moms, listen up, or like course creators, watch this, things like that. So there's ways around it.
Interesting.
Yeah, they are clamping down on some of the things that you can and can't do on Facebook, which is unfortunate, which is, I'm slowly moving over to YouTube to try some things out over there. And so I haven't like launched anything specific yet, but, working on that. So yeah, things are changing so rapidly right now with, where people are advertising and where they're putting their advertising money.
Yeah.
But it helps though. I will say, like, I have a Facebook ads rep who works at Facebook. And so like, if I have any questions for him, I can like dial him up. Like we've talked on the phone. And so that's been helpful.
That's awesome.
Get someone on like support or a person and be like, hey, like we're going to do this ad. Is this gonna get passed through versus like just trying to send it through and then asking for forgiveness later, which doesn't work that well. Cause you're going to sometimes your ads account will get shut down.
Yeah, absolutely. How do we get one of those? I mean,
you know what? I'm sure there's like a limit of spend or you know, our minimum that you have to be spending.
Yeah.
But, you know, don't give up. You just keep emailing them, email their support. Just try to
absolutely.
ask them. You're really worried about it. But sometimes it's unfortunate. You got to water down your videos a lot to get them passed through. Like when we did for an injury law attorney, it was so tough to get it passed through because you can't say like, were you injured? Or like, you know, do you have like whatever it was, like, are you having a hard time? You know, is your financial situation being affected? Like all those identifiers are saying things about like a person's personal attributes. Like you can't say that stuff. So we had a hard time with that. I've seen other people where they'll start off the ad and they'd be like, hey, just so you know, we can't say the word money in a Facebook ad, and you can't even say the word Facebook in a Facebook ad. But we can't say the word money, so we're gonna. Anytime we say the word, you know, duck, that means we're talking about money. So are you guys trying to make lots of ducks? You know, and so
and people are like, what?
Yeah. So, but now they know in the beginning, like, okay, they're talking about money, but you're not saying it like. Do you want to just kill it and make millions of ducks? You know, so.
I love it. Then the ducks start raining all over the place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome, and thank you. Before we head out to the last couple questions, I'm curious. Do you see a difference between organic, you know, content that gets put out regularly, you know, consistently over a long period of time versus paid media, right? Besides the maybe the speed up process when it's paid, right? Like we can really scale that thing, but at the core, do you see those as different things, or is that something that can be potentially combined into one, and then, you know, money is the one differentiator, right?
Yeah. So I sat down one day and I wrote out like 10 topics, and these are you know, 10 objections that people have about why they're not making videos, right? It might be like, oh, I don't have an expensive camera. I don't have, you know, I don't like to be on camera, or I don't know how to edit videos. And so I like made a separate video about all those different objections that people have. And I ran those on organic Instagram. And then I ran those on paid ads on Facebook. And I mean, so you could basically double your efforts. And so run them on, you know, paid ads and organic, and they both did extremely well. Like they got lots of comments and had great results, because people just appreciate it when you are giving them free information inside of a Facebook ad. Because most people are used to seeing an ad on Facebook and they're just being sold something. It's just like sales pitch, which is fine. That can work too. But like, I found that like that reciprocity of just like giving people free information and then hitting them with like a very light CTA or call to action at the end. Hey, if you want to learn more about, you know, some of these principles that I'm sharing with you, I do cover more of this inside of my video formula. Go to thevideoformula.com, and like those ads did really well. Or like one ad that I'm running, it actually got denied recently. It ran for months and then it got denied because I said the word Facebook in there like 3 times. I had to take that out. But anyways, I taught people how to add captions to their videos without ever having to open an editing program. Like it's an actual 7-minute step-by-step tutorial. I'm like, hey, go to rev.com, click on this, go here. And then it was just like a light CTA at the end. It was my best performing ad in January, February, and March. And so, and I could have easily ran that organically on Instagram and I don't know, YouTube or wherever, LinkedIn, wherever else you want to throw it out there.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Well. So one of your best performing ads was a how-to video, pretty much.
Yeah, it was, and actually more than one. I've done it with more than one. Another one was how to be amazing on camera, or no, what was it? It was like the headline was something like, "Are you afraid to go on camera? Try this." I think that's what it said, and then I give them 3 tips. I follow the formula that I teach in the ad. It's like pattern interrupt, fire, and then I'm like, hey, I'm going to share with you 3 things that you can do right now to make yourself more comfortable with going on camera. And then I get into the 3 things, and then I teach. And then at the end, I have a light call to action. And then people like, there are so many comments on that ad, like, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to make this video. It really helped me. And then they like, you know, it's that I'm doing something nice for them and giving them value. And then they want to buy the thing afterwards because they feel inclined to do so. They're like, I'll throw $97 at this guy. That's pretty cool that he did that, so it really works.
Absolutely. This is amazing.
Well, obviously that, and then golden boulder.
Yeah, we need some props in here. Just like your Fire wallet, we need like helmets from when you're throwing. Yeah, from when you're throwing these golden boulders at us.
Yeah.
For those listening, golden boulders are just like golden nuggets, just way bigger and way more powerful.
I have something that could be almost as good as gold. But this is an actual 100-ounce. Silver bar, so this will do for now. Here you go, guys.
Wow,
let's go.
Yes,
that's perfect. FONZI, where's the helmet?
I know. We need some cool props.
If you're listening, come join us in the videos, man. Some stuff happens, and it's fun to watch. Kevin, thank you so much. I mean, this has been so helpful. In my head, it's just going wild right now because that answer was on purpose. Like we're legit curious about what was the view from somebody that has been working on these campaigns, and the fact, and we saw the video of the objections, which, by the way, if you send me a link, we're gonna add it right below because it's incredible. We were like legit dying laughing, and we are like, yes, that was us like 7 years ago. Well, that was more FONZI like 7 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, so share the link.
I'm just gonna throw this out there before we dive into the last couple questions. Kevin, we're gonna have to bring you for a round 2.
I know.
Is that okay?
After the move.
Sure. After I move, I'm down. Yeah.
Yes, let's go. Because we got more questions. We gotta dive deeper into these principles right here so we can help more people. And of course, so we can send more people to your video formula so they can learn all of them to perfection.
So Kevin, last couple of questions. For that entrepreneur or content creator that's starting their journey, transitioning right into their own business, and are faced with the challenge of creating content consistently, right? They're trying to put out there, they listen to all the people telling them, hey, you got to be out there, you got to build your own modern media team, you got to be in well, and put such what would be number one point of advice or action point for them to get that momentum going?
Sorry, I got a little bit choppy there for a second during the last part, but you're talking about people who are trying to build their video teams.
Yeah, people that are trying to build their modern media teams, right? In-house team that they want to move on, even if that's themselves or, bringing people on, but they need to start creating content consistently, right? To make sure that their message is out there in this online world that we live in today.
Yeah, I think that, it's definitely important to understand the 10 ingredients that go into any video that's going to perform well. Studying other marketers online and going on their ads accounts can be extremely helpful if you're trying to navigate this and to figure out what are some of the ingredients that people are putting in their videos. Go on Frank Kern, go on his ads account. You just go to facebook.com/ads/library and then type in his name. Make sure you set it to all ads because I think it defaults to like political or something, but you just set all ads. Yep. And go to his account, watch some of his videos, scroll to the very bottom, see the ones that have been up for a while because they're doing well if they've been up for months and months and months. Same with Russell Brunson, Grant Cardone, go to Brendon Burchard, go to Dean Graciosi, Tony Robbins, all those guys and see what they're doing. And you can kind of start to see like the ingredients that I teach and you'll see them in their ads. But hopefully that answers your question. But I think it's a rare skill with video guys right now to understand how to make videos that are going to perform well. Because if you just use that, because I'm pointing at it because I have it on my screen, the video formula, like if you just use it as your sort of your compass for what you're doing and you build your videos around that as your foundation, your messaging, what you're saying, text that's on the screen, anything that you're doing, your ads, videos, organic or paid, they're gonna do better.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and again, the link is right below. All you gotta do, guys, is scroll down and click in there to get those 10 awesome ingredients.
Yes.
Is it better than an arepa, FONZI? I don't know if Kevin knows what an arepa is, but
we'll have to see. We'll have to figure it out ourselves.
But thank you again for that. Last question, Kevin, before we let you go and continue the move. Now, where will you be if you did not publish?
Where would I be if I did not publish? I would probably be not working with, the clients that we're able to work with, not, being able to meet guys like you to be on this podcast. Yeah, I mean, it's not something where like if you go on my Instagram, I don't publish a lot of content, like hardly ever. I just don't have time to do that. And there's both sides of the coin where people are like, you have to go on Instagram and publish 100 videos a day, like Gary Vee, publish your face off. And then there's people who are like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do any content at all. It doesn't matter. So I'm kind of like in the middle where like my Instagram is a little bit of a ghost town just because it's not really my platform. I met Gary Vee in person at one of the ClickFunnels events probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and everyone got to ask him one question. And so my question for him was, what's the platform that if you had to focus on, you only had, to choose one, what would you focus on right now? And he said Facebook. So like from that day forward, I just chose Facebook.
I love it.
I went all in on that. And like, so I publish on there. Like I like almost never post videos or photos of my kids just because I don't want them to have like huge, like thumbprint online. But if you scroll down, you can see old family pictures of me, whatever. But like, I don't post a lot. It's mostly just business stuff that I post. And it's like, just promoting some of my things, or I'm like sharing video ads that my agency is doing, or just trying to post valuable content for people. So that's kind of my place to share stuff, or I'll post something funny, whatever. I don't post that often, but I think, my real like breadwinner is probably my ads. Just spending money on my ads, and then like people buy my course and they learn about me, and then they want to like, buy more of my stuff and ascend up the value ladder. So that's been where people like have gotten to know me, and they like, they act like I'm a celebrity when I get on like a phone call with them, even though I don't see myself as a celebrity at all. I'm just some dude in my house, like just putting out content. Like had a phone call with this girl yesterday, and I got on the Zoom call, and she was like absolutely freaking out. I wish I recorded it. She was just like, I can't believe I'm actually talking to you. I watched all your ads. Did your 5-day challenge. This is amazing. It was super fun. It was cool.
Wow.
Because I still do my Zoom calls sometimes because it's fun to talk to people. I enjoy it. Anyway, so just, I think it is important to publish content in some capacity, get your face out there. And so people can build rapport with you and see who you are. If you have the time to go live on Facebook, even if it's like a couple times a week, and just chat about stuff, chat about objections that people have about your product or service, or chat about potential pain points that they have in their life or in their business or whatever you're helping them solve, make different topics about live streams. I did that for a couple months at one point, probably like a year or two ago, and it did extremely well. I got lots of messages from people out didn't even know that they existed. Like they were blowing up, our form for our agency. Like we got lots of business out of it. Just getting yourself out there and being visible, I think it is super, super important. It does wonders for your business. Yeah. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And, I love the fact that you're like super transparent on how you tackle this, right? Because for each one of us is going to be completely different. And, we launched a workshop a few weeks ago, and that's what was one of the things. Like we had people that came from Instagram, people that had shows, people that love Facebook Lives. And at the end of the day, it's like, what is the flow that you're going to be able to sustain over time, right? And for us, obviously we have the platform of the show and the content that comes out of the show because there's a process and a system in place that allows us to do that, right? And we call that the safety net effect. At the same time, we've been connecting with a lot of people, but when it comes to like organic content where it's like me sharing something about maybe my family, different things, there's something that I follow, but like that my focus there, for example, is Instagram, right? Like that's where I live. We also have, Facebook and LinkedIn somewhat present, but Instagram is my main one. But I encourage everybody, find your flow, find your consistency, find where you are comfortable living, right? And then if you have the resources to continue to invest into that machine and develop your processes, just like Kevin has done with his frameworks and his company, go ahead and do it, right? There's no wrong way. The only wrong way is to not do anything, right? Yep. It's like put your message out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin, thank you so much for coming here today. It was absolutely amazing. It was refreshing to talk about video and how to get people's attention. And I can wait to have you a second time in here.
Thank you guys. It was awesome hanging out. And I'll just say the last thing. It's just like, if you're watching this and you're, some people are overwhelmed or they're in a different place, don't feel like you have to tackle every single social media channel with all this content. I think that's what stops people from taking actions, because they're like, I have to do YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's like, no, you don't. Like, if you want to just go all in on TikTok, then do that. That's fine. Like do that. Like go all in on it until you master it. And then, span out to other channels. I mean, I'm stealing the words from Russell on that. Like he harps on that all the time. He just says, focus on one channel at a time before you start spanning out to the other ones. But yeah, it's just don't kill yourself. Like you guys are just saying, just make a little bit of progress and get some stuff out there and just kind of get your feet wet. Something is better than nothing. That's for dang sure. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Love it, man. Links to connect with you, they're going to be right below. We've mentioned it all throughout the episode. I love it. It's like a breadcrumb for people to have incredible success with you. But
just so you know, if you guys want the video formula, and Kevin, correct us if you're wrong, go to thevideoformula.com. If you want the mini course, kevinanson.com/mini. And if you want to participate in the challenge, you can go to kevinanson.com/challenge. Is that correct?
You nailed it, man. You got it.
Let's go.
Got it.
And if you want to connect with Kevin in social media, is Kevin Anson everywhere, literally. Just LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Just Kevin Anson. You'll find him. Connect with him. Send him some love.
Yeah. Kevin, anything else you want to add before we head out?
I'm sorry to the guy who also has the name Kevin Anson online, because I got everything Kevin Anson. So he has to put a 1 at the end of his name. I'm really sorry, but no, I don't think there's maybe one other Kevin Anson, but he doesn't. Yeah, I snatched up all those things earlier on as quick as I could when I had the opportunity. I was like, Kevin Anson, Kevin Anson.
Yeah,
yes, I got them all. KevinAnson.com. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, early adopter advantage, right? There you go.
With that, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Content Profit Podcast. Go ahead and follow the show on your favorite platform and on social media at BIZBROS Co.
That is right. And if Kevin blew your mind and he taught you how to create these incredible videos, please don't forget to share this episode and leave a 5-star review. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right. See you guys.